So today we're going to talk about a trend you've probably heard of, quiet quitting. But we're looking at it in a place you might find, well, kind of surprising. Japan. Yeah, the country that's literally legendary for its work ethic. So what's going on? Why are its young people suddenly checking out? Let's dive in.
I mean, think about it. When you picture work in Japan, you probably think of incredible dedication, lifetime employment, maybe some really long hours. It's a culture where working hard is just part of the fabric of society. The bar for what's considered a good job, performance-wise, is set incredibly high.
And that's the big question, right? In a place that's built on such a powerful work ethic, why are so many young people deciding to just do the bare minimum? Is it just a story about a lazy generation, or is there something much, much deeper happening here?
Okay, so let's get right to the heart of it. The answer isn't some big cultural shift, and it's not about a change in character. Nope, it's about something way more simple. Cold, hard economic reality. You can trace this whole thing back to what young people are seeing on their paychecks every month.
And we're not talking about the gross salary they put on the job offer. We're talking about the actual money that lands in a recent college grad's bank account. You know, after all the taxes, the social insurance, and everything else is taken out. This is the money they have to actually live on.
And that number, on average, is about 180,000 yen a month. Just let that sink in for a second. For a brand new graduate starting a career in one of the biggest economies in the world, that's their starting point. To really put that into perspective for everyone, 180,000 yen works out to be about 1,170 US dollars. Again, that's per month. After taxes, that's the amount they have to cover, well, everything. So I've got to ask you, just think about where you live, especially if you're in a city. Could you build a life on that? Could you save for the future? Could you feel motivated to climb the career ladder for that kind of money? It's a serious question. Let's actually break it down. If you look at a pretty typical budget, after you pay for rent, food, and other basics, a new grad might only have 35,000 yen left over. That's less than 230 bucks a month for savings, for fun, for anything. And that's if they're being super careful. One unexpected bill, and poof, it's all gone. So all of this financial pressure, it leads to what we're calling a rational revolt. It's not people getting angry and flipping tables. It's a quiet, calculated decision based on an economic dead end. It's a clash between that cultural expectation to be diligent and the hard reality of the dollars, or yen, in their bank account.
Now, this is maybe the most important point to understand. These young workers are not lazy. They're not refusing to work. Their baseline, the minimum standard of what they do, is still incredibly high. What they are refusing to do is give all that extra effort, the unpaid overtime, the going above and beyond, when they know it's not going to be rewarded. They're basically looking at it like a business decision. They see putting in all that extra work as an irrational investment. Why would you pour more of your time and energy into something when you've already done the math and you know there's going to be little to no return? And this really brings us to the bigger picture. This isn't just about a few companies paying poorly. It's about the entire structure of the labor market in Japan. The system itself seems broken, almost like it's designed to discourage that extra effort. And here's where things get really weird. Because of labor shortages, the hourly pay for part-time or non-regular work is actually going up. But at the same time, the real wages for full-time regular employees, they've been stuck in place for decades. So when those old promises of job security and guaranteed raises start to disappear, young people start asking a very logical question. Is being a full-time employee even worth it anymore? This has created a situation that some are calling a fake meritocracy, right? It looks like a system where if you work hard, you'll get ahead. But it's kind of an illusion. With every promotion, you get more responsibility, more stress, more work, but the pay, it just doesn't follow. And how little are we talking? Well, in some situations, getting a promotion might mean an annual raise of just a few thousand yen. That can be as little as 20 or 30 extra bucks for the whole year. I mean, how can anyone stay motivated when that's the prize? You know, while we're focusing on Japan, this story really forces all of us to ask a much bigger question. In a world with rising costs and totally different attitudes about work, what does fair compensation actually look like, anywhere? So is there a way out? Is there a fix? Well, one of the first steps being proposed is actually pretty simple, but really powerful: transparency.
Just pulling back the curtain on how people get paid could be the key to rebuilding some of that lost trust. So what does that mean? Well, first, companies need to just show young employees what their salary could look like in 5, 10, 15 years. No more secrets. And second, they need to evaluate people based on clear results, not on fuzzy ideas like effort or good spirit, which can just be used as an excuse to keep pay low.
So, to wrap this all up, the main thing to take away is this. Quiet quitting in Japan isn't about a lazy generation. Not at all. It is a quiet but incredibly clear demand. It's the sound of a whole generation of young workers making a rational choice and silently asking society for fair pay for fair work. And I'll just leave you with this final thought, bringing us right back to the beginning. Looking at that number again, $1,170 a month. You have to ask yourself honestly, for that kind of money, would you be motivated to give anything more than the absolute bare minimum?